Well, folks, it's not the game that you wanted, but you got yourselves a win. I really don't have a lot of other explanation for anything else. We're going to get into our notes, what we saw, what we took away, and what's going on still right now. Welcome to RGR Football. Welcome back, Chiefs Kingdom fans around the league. If you're new, like, sub, hit that bell, because while this will maintain our positive energy, if you want to see something that will be the real truth in the language that's not suitable for a family channel like this, you'll have to join the memberships. That said, for tonight, welcome all. Daniel Harms, partner in crime, somebody that sometimes calms me down and sometimes kind of fires me up. So, like, what are you going to be tonight, dude?
I mean, I was told earlier in today's, if the Chiefs, because I was saying that even if they win this game, I don't think there's anything really to feel good about. And I was told I was being too pessimistic. I was too pessimistic. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. Did you watch that game? Did anybody else feel good about just barely beating out Daniel Jones and Jason Garrett, who can't coach his way out of the box? I don't know. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
They got the win. Like, that's awesome. That's awesome. They were able to grind out a win. I mean, there's just one thing. I at this point I'm laughing. The turnovers. Everyone's been saying eventually it'll get right. It'll get right.
Evidently not.
It's week 8. No, it's still happening. Here we are. It's still happening.
And the craziest kind of nonsense. Arguably the two biggest stars in the offense, the guys that are committing these turnovers, Mahomes and Kelsey tonight. Yeah. Kelsey dropped another pass late. Like, I don't know why they can't put this all together. There's something wrong, folks. If you happen to work in water treatment, if you happen to work in the EPA, like food poisoning, something is going on at Arrowhead 1. I don't understand what it is, but they need help in a big, big way. It is it's out of sorts. I don't know what to make of it. I will say that this is a game where everything is going so wrong for you all the time. I do have to get credit for them that they didn't lose focus. I was worried. There was a point in the third quarter, and I even typed it out, hopefully not to jinx it, like, are they just going to shut it down and sell out and run down the river, and is this over right now?
It looked like it, yeah.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah. I know exactly what we're talking about, because I felt that too. I'm like, they looked like they packed it in. Like, the defense was doing everything. I mean, I won't say everything they could do, because they were still, I mean, if I ever see Dan Sorensen in the red zone ever
again.
Why is he in the red zone? What's Spags doing playing him in the red zone? What?
And this is another situation that we kind of talked about this before, right? Yeah. Where we are now put in the situation of defending choices that we would not have made, that we preach against. And now I have to tell people on Twitter, hey, it's not Spags that blew that play. That's actually Dan messing that up. And now I have to defend something that I wouldn't even have done in the first place.
Yep.
Makes it turns my stomach. But Gooch does not. And Gooch, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for the super chat. Still ready. Folks, you're going to see Gooch this week. Live and in person. Well, not live. He'll be in person, and he will be solo, as well as the Roguehead Huddle, which you can get on Fridays now. Just want you guys to know that. And I'm not going to let Gooch fire me up yet either. Get my goat is what I meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
I'm not sure what this one is. Okay, yeah. Oh God, yeah. You're going to have to do one, Gooch. I'm going to do one as well. And it all comes back to that. Now, thank you guys for the support. We appreciate that. I'm going to hit all the super chats tonight. Remember, tomorrow night is the Q&A. So if you have questions, you want to vent, you want to try to get me to cuss, that would be the night to do it. I won't, but you can try. If Andy cannot get me to do it, then I don't think anybody else would. But 12 penalties. What's going on? Sorensen on the field. I mean, it's like you're in my head, Quentin. And I want to be able to win, but I can't be. I want to be happy with the win, I'm sure, but I can't be.
Yeah.
I I mean, let's be real. The Sorensen mistake was not made by the staff tonight. It was made in training camp when you elected to keep him not only on the roster, but as one of the guys that you feel you have to rely on. So, yeah, I know you know where I'm coming from.
You guys, if you guys remember, if you listen to the Always Sunny podcast that I did earlier before the season started, I told everybody I would cut Dan Sorensen before the season, and you're seeing why.
Yeah.
The very first thing, he's in position to knock a ball down, but first, penalized. I need to make sure that this guy who's way shorter than me and can't physically box me out, I need to make sure I can grab onto him. Okay, really get a good job, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let him catch the ball, because I can't make a play on the ball even though I'm in perfect position. I can't do anything. I can't do it. I can't track it. I can't find it. I got to make sure I hold John Ross, who can't box me out, and I need to make sure that he catches the ball because I don't know what I'm doing. This is exactly why he needs to be cut tomorrow. He needs to be cut tomorrow.
Won't happen.
It won't happen, but he needs
Zane
to.
Anderson, just keep your ears on. I'm just saying. I mean, and this is the silliness that it comes down to. There is no answer for this. And Steve, you're right. It's not just Sorensen. Ben Neiman plays like I don't know what he does. He was in position a couple times. Same thing, in position to make a play. All you have to do is strong arm through an offensive lineman that's already on his heels. He's not dug in. He's not anchored. All you got to do is either blow by him, turn his shoulder, or God forbid, actually hit somebody. And that doesn't seem to be able to happen. I'm at a loss, and I have no explanations.
But hey, guys, they're 4-4.
It is a step forward. At least they didn't just trade away their best pass rusher. I don't know. Maybe that's a plus.
It's funny. Isn't it funny what it looks like when he's at defensive tackle? Isn't it funny what he looks like? It's way better. It's way better.
Yeah. I mean, and yes, there was a rotation there. Completely frustrating on that side of the ball, but Susan has a good point here I want to highlight in a second. That said, that change caused problems.
Correct.
Because you had Alex Okafor out there when he wasn't supposed to be. You had him confused about the call was. They gave up one of those touchdowns because I think it was Frank Clark that had to turn around, or maybe it was Chris Jones, had to turn around, talk to Willie Gay to figure out what the hell he's supposed to do.
Yep.
There is still the same core problems that the defenders do not know what they're supposed to be doing, or if they're even supposed to be on the field.
I will say, though, I know that the defense had their issues, and take what you can away from the fact that this is still one of the worst offenses in the NFL, but they were able to make timely stops. I think that for that 3rd and 1 play where Willie Gay just comes off the block and nails Daniel Jones, who didn't just pitch the ball, by the way, because he thinks that Frank Clark can get out to the running back, which was funny. I mean, I'm thinking, your running back is faster than Frank Clark, right? Just no, he wants to go forward. And then Willie Gay lays the lumber. I think those two guys have shown when they're on the field at the same time, even though there's going to be some miscommunications, some physical limitations on Bolton's part, Gay and Bolton play very, very well together. And that was evident in the first couple series of the game. They play very well together. And then what does Spags do? I need to get Ben Neiman and Dan Sorensen out of the field.
Don't. I mean, there is a certain point where you got to get somebody on the field. Okay, fine. If you feel like you're going to wear those guys out and like the number of reps is too much, okay. But I saw no visual evidence of that in the way that they were running. And like Susan said, they played well all night long. And luckily, I will say this, they didn't try to move Ben into the middle and put Nick outside again. They let him stay the mic like he should be. So, Matt House, thanks for visiting the channel. I'm glad you heard me last week.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you, Susan, for pointing out the positive. That is number one here on my list of notes. The takeaways is, and I literally wrote, not only did Gay and Bolton play well, but the whole defense, the intensity was up. Like, they got smacked in the face, and they actually almost stood up to it. I won't say that they fought back or anything, but they stood up at least. They're awake again. I thought that was a good step forward overall for the defense. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're on the same page there. Brendan, thank you for the support. We appreciate it. Why did they run Williams in the second half when Gore was killing it in the first? Also, do you think that Mahomes is just thinking too much? I think they just got in rut. I think Andy just he wanted to start throwing the ball more. He didn't want to continue to run. He thought that Gore had done enough to set up the rest of his half so he could just go back to doing what he wanted to do.
You want to know something funny? Mahomes takes full responsibility for not wanting to get bored. Andy Reid needs to do the same thing because the first entire drive was word for word perfection to what you have to do to continuously beat what you're seeing. And then Andy Reid and Patrick, it's both of them. Mm-hmm. They both were sitting back and like, we need to throw the ball more down the field into situations that don't make any sense. And as soon as Mahomes' first read is gone, he was getting so flustered. Every single time, even the ones where he finally gets to Darrell Williams, he's like trying to figure out the pocket, kind of move around, almost hit his tackle, and just kind of like shovel passes it over there, and it barely gets into Darrell Williams' hands. Like,
and that's the thing. There's still the risks that he takes because of that. I noticed that they changed it. They did go back to more levels, and I think that's exactly what, when he did start to get in a position where he's trying to look downfield. Tonight, they didn't have those downfield routes. So, like, he literally didn't have anything where he wants to
uncomfortable.
Go. Yeah, it was very clear. I will say this, though. I thought Darrell played well in place of Gore. I don't think Darrell should have gotten the bulk of the carries. Gore was clearly the hot hand, and you guys know how I feel about Darrell. I would not say that unless there was a reason. I don't know what it is. I don't think any of us will know what it is until somebody says something, which will never happen. So, let's see if Stevie has anything that we didn't come up with. Good point on Noddy. And that last play that Clark got credit for a sack, it was Reed that made the play. So, good point, Stevie. I'm glad you pointed out Noddy too. He's in my notes as well.
Dude,
and I felt
Noddy's just continuously underappreciated in this team. He gets underappreciated every single week, but all he does is come, play, and he plays hard every time. He doesn't he's never going to be a vocal guy, but he's just always around.
Yeah. Although I seen they did a feature on him cooking. He might not be a vocal guy, but he can cook. I'll tell you that. So he uses it for something.
Good for him.
I will say this too, that I felt not in particular. I felt he played better in the second half. I saw him start to come out more. Obviously, the last drive, the defensive front all kind of woke up. So like they still got a spine. They still got a heart in there somewhere. Like they had the opportunity, and I felt like they stepped up. Yes, there was the penalty. There was two. I don't know. Every 5 seconds there was a penalty, and so I don't know which one I'm talking about. But but that is another positive takeaway for the thing that's been the problem this whole time. At least you saw some incremental change.
I just
build on, right?
It is, but the problem is that the Chiefs' defensive line have faced very injured offensive lines, 3 or 4 of them this season, and they still haven't been able to get home. That's a huge problem because when they go up against the Cowboys, when they go up against the Packers, even though the Packers' offensive line's been hurt too, you think you're going to get pressure on Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers? You're not going to get it.
I hope that that can change. I hope that this can be a step towards actually getting there because we also saw more blitzes from the linebackers like I've been crying about since the season started, and it's going to pay off. I thought it helped tonight. I didn't see them get home. There was one play where I think they both came on delay dogs, and it worked. Like, they got to keep that kind of thing up. Gooch, you're absolutely right. They haven't learned about those two players. I don't know what it is. There's just a block there. And Pono, I don't know, man. I'm not ready to say you're right, but all the evidence is pointing in the direction that I'm not digging. Peyton was slaughtering Dan on live TV. Oh, I didn't see that. I record that one. Like, I usually watch it when it's not the Chiefs playing. I didn't get a chance to listen to it.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was like, I can't watch. I want to watch the Peyton and Eli, but I have to actually pay attention to the game because they're literally just there for these games that haven't been good. And these Monday night games have been terrible. This was one of them. This game was no fun to watch. It was no fun for anybody to watch. I think that you have two teams that don't know what they're doing, just kind of throwing the football here, throwing it there, and kind of just tripping over themselves. And then the Chiefs ended up winning. Like, it was ugly.
I'm with you. Let's see. Okay, I missed one from Stevie. Thank you. Evidently something about Peyton not realizing who it was. I didn't see that one. Azazel, a win is a win, and that's a good point. I'm glad, and thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that. A win is a win, and when you're playing this badly, just to be able to get the win against one of the bottom 5 teams in the league, it's still a win, and it's something that you can at least say, well, we didn't screw that up. We were able to pull that in. I think that there is something to be said for that. Thanks, Zazzle. I appreciate that. Let's see. We have another one from Stevie. Well, that would be dirty. Okay, yeah. You can say everything about Dan tonight. Where do we go from here? You try to build on the good, and you try to figure out just what in the hell is going on with your stars turning the ball over. I do think Patrick is just continuing to press. I will say this. First 15, he was good. Start the second half, he was good. He got the ball out quicker. He was taking what was there. And other than terrible execution on 2 plays again by controlling the ball, I thought that they moved the ball well. And that looked like the Chiefs offense that you need to see between running the ball well and that quick game. They have to be able to execute that every week until they get enough run to pull the safety down and let them go single high. And then they're back in business for what they want to do.
Yeah, it just looks tough. Everything they do looks difficult at this point. The couple of drives they had where it looked seamless, and I'm going to point this out to you guys because it was irritating the crap out of me. Andy Reid knew he was going to get 2 high safeties, and yet he waited until the second half to use McCole Hardman on any type of end around, any kind of anything. He waited the whole time. That can't happen, okay? Especially after the first drive. You do the whole thing, change it up. Now bring McCole Hardman in. You can get some big plays like in momentum. As much as they've talked about trying to hit these plays, using your speed guys into their advantages. I know that he's had a fumble here and there, but you're already turning the ball over anyway. Who cares when it happens? If you're going to do it, I'd be okay getting it down in there. But the point is, Andy Reid's not using McCole Hardman properly, and you have to. McCole Hardman's acceleration is just as good as Tyreek Hill's. It's just as good.
And credit to him, he ran hard there at the end, through contact. I thought he read his blocks decently. Like he showed better vision in traffic there on that end run than he shows in running his routes. So, I mean, kudos to him. Daryl, thank you for that super chat. We appreciate it. Zithro, yeah, maybe they can hide 49 and 56's helmets, and maybe that'll help. I don't know. Thank you for the super chat. Kevin Steele, Josh Gordon was open multiple occasions. Why is Pat not looking for him? He's essentially being used to block. You're right. And I saw the same thing. I saw at least 3 routes where he had beaten his man, didn't get a look. And I don't know if it's the play, the design, or if it's just a trust factor, but it's not there. Blake Bell got more targets than Josh Gordon did, and it makes absolutely 0 sense. That's one of the more puzzling ones to me.
The things I'm seeing is people are commenting that wide receivers aren't getting open, and I saw it last week. I went back looked at the Titans game. Byron Pringle and McCole Hardman were open all the time, just literally all the time. And I don't understand where this narrative comes from that wide receivers aren't getting open, but it's just not true. People are getting open. Mahomes is just, as soon as he gets off that first read, it's not there. He starts to panic.
And there's something even beyond that. Patrick's uncomfortable in some way. His accuracy has taken a serious hit in the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
Like I saw more balls that I thought were behind their targets than were on target.
That one to Byron Pringle, man, he's coming over. He's just doing a deep crosser, which we've been asking for. Some more over routes like that. He's open, and Mahomes just misses him.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, I don't think this is from the turf toe injury from last season. I think that repair went fine. I think he may have re-injured it, or it's something else to do with the foot. He was limping at a couple spots tonight. He seems to be able to walk it off, but it's definitely something. There's a factor going on there with his lower body, and I don't know what it is. Chiefs 816. Look better checking it down. Still a few misses. You're right. And I think they just went with the hot hand so they could pass. Gore still is the inferior pass blocker to Darrell. They certainly aren't comfortable with him in there when they know they want to throw the ball. But good Lord, can I just get Gore and Burton for a nice 20 touches and just cram it down somebody's face?
Yeah, right. This offensive line was able to move most of the game, that defensive front of the Giants. And the funny part was, like, They had that great drive of running Derek Gore, just constant, and then touchdown. Next drive, they come out, pass. What are you doing, Andy? What are you doing? Like, what do you think? Oh,
we checked the box. We've now run the ball. We're done.
Right. Here come the safeties. No, that's not how that works.
You got to keep a dose. And honestly, I thought they were close to getting them out of that too high shell.
You saw them creep a little bit. They saw them creep a little bit.
Yep.
And they were, but they
thought, ooh, that's enough. Oh, sorry. I don't mean to be sarcastic. I'm supposed to be professional.
No, he does. Okay. It's okay. It's good. It's good live TV. It's good. Sarcasm is perfect.
Stevie, you have a very, very good point.
Yep.
Because DOD will struggle in certain places, especially if they run at him. But he will at least be able to move into coverage.
He's going to make a play. I guarantee he makes at least one play a game.
And now I start to feel guilty because I'm just down here complaining when they just won a ball game.
That's okay. We'll get to the good stuff here in a second.
Yeah. Actually, we're gonna have to wrap it up because I have the Locked On Chiefs show to do as well.
Yeah.
Pressers are underway, and so when they're end, I'm out. If your scheme is too complicated for your own players to grasp, it isn't a good scheme. Hey, Sam, thank you for the super chat. And I agree with you in principle, but there is also a way that a lot of defense coordinators get into coddling their young players too much, not pushing them enough mentally, not pushing them to become a unit that can do certain things. Maybe even if a player has a certain player has problems with it. But yeah, in general, I'm with you. Flapjack, from all the bad we had, Bolton Gay are animals. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be the number one takeaway. Like,
yeah,
you survived the game, and your young linebackers are progressing the way you had hoped. Our rookies are better than our veterans. Beth,
I don't know if he's wrong. I don't know if they're wrong on that.
I will say this: if things don't turn around, there's going to be more changes on the offensive line in the offseason. I will tell you that.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, right now, I don't think Niang's getting given that job back. I think he played pretty well today. I think outside of some holds from Trey Smith, that right side from middle to right is set the rest of the season. I think they've done a very good job. And I don't have a clue I will say this, preface it again. Ryan and I talked about it before the trade happened. I don't know what the Chiefs thought they were getting and what you didn't see from Atlanta Brown. I don't know what they thought they were going to be able to do. But this is what we said would happen when if you asked him to do things like this Chiefs offensive line does. And you're seeing it bear out in games. It's a problem.
And you notice, you didn't see it in the first 15. You didn't see it in the first two drives in the second half when they're actually delivering the ball on time.
Yes.
Hey, help Orlando, help Patrick. That's what I'm saying.
And if you run the ball more, guess what? You help them out.
Right. Gooch, thank you. Someone must have crept in here and decided to be positive tonight. Sorry, brother. Accident, thank you very much. The deflection INTs get, yeah, it is. It's not, he did throw one into like just a bad spot tonight. I think that's the one that got called back though.
Yeah, I think it was on purpose.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I think he knew it was an offside.
Now who's being optimistic? Okay, cool. I'll take that over this let's play deflection ball for 17 days. Jake, thank you. A good game against Green Bay has me super nervous. Sorensen against Adams.
You won't see him against Adams.
No, good God. After this performance, we shouldn't see Dan Sorensen again.
But we will.
I know. I just want to say it out loud.
Because we saw him again. We saw him on the field at the end of the game. But again, I mean, so let's talk a little bit about what I think that you can take away from it. I don't think there's a whole lot because, like you said, the game was so tough.
Hold on. We got like 17 more super chats to get through.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Okay. Thank you, Jake. And yeah, there's going to be a lot, but I don't think it's going to be Sorensen. I don't get all the play calling sometimes. Yeah, left Tatum.
I agree, Tatum. Right there with you.
With us. I wish to God I had a concept of an answer to give you, dude. I don't. Okay, so we are super behind. I'm going to do these manually. Is Mahomes' accuracy becoming a real issue? It's on the edge for me. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, it's right now. It is becoming an issue. It's because he's just moving too much, and he starts to get panicky, and he doesn't like to be in the pocket.
Yeah, I'm and I don't know if there's any fix for that anytime soon.
Yeah,
until you run the ball enough that it pulls out that extra defender up high. Brandon Lake, thank you for your super chat. Is it time to start thinking about moving on from Andy? No, it is not. we are 8 games into a season removed from being in the Super Bowl. So no.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that Clark Hunt will be here until Andy decides to go.
Yep. I agree.
Unless we're talking about 2-win seasons and stuff that has never happened for a Reed team. So I think we're still okay.
Yeah.
Kambuia, sorry, is it about Mahomes or the play calling? Sometimes it feels like Mahomes completely lost his confidence. Does that feel like that to you?
It's both, and I don't disagree that it does feel like he's. For me, I said this on Twitter. I feel like you have to kind of play like Alex Smith, and Mahomes doesn't want to play that way at all. And what makes him special, what has made him special in the past, is being able to make the big plays. Okay, he gets out of the pocket, he makes the big plays. What you're seeing is teams using that spy like they did on that third down play and rushing 3 and letting a spy be here. And they're taking away his ability to do what he sees as making him special. But just executing an offense and adjusting when a defense presents problems also makes you special. I think that he's not understanding that part, and that he feels like he has to be that quarterback to be the best quarterback in the NFL. But all it takes is executing the offense and forcing the safeties to have to come down to play those flats. Otherwise, you're just playing into exactly what they want.
I'm with you, and I think that will happen. We'll get into me crying about, of all things, why Noah Gray isn't playing when Jody Fortson's out. We'll talk about that later. Chris, what we can learn from this game is that incremental things are improving. Other things are not, that are still costing them games. This should have been a 14-point win, easy, if it wasn't for these turnovers. They drove well. Rev Debo, thank you. Oh, a couple of times. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
And then Voodoo got in here with this one. He needs to run downhill in the red zone instead of that first drive turnover may not happen. You have a good point, Voodoo. I will say this too. I thought that little cutesy pie trick play with Travis flipping it back to Patrick, great play. That should have been a playoff play. There was no reason to run that there. You don't need the tricks just because you're in the red zone. When you're moving the ball effectively, it was silly.
I don't think that they're needed at all, to be honest with you, because every team sees Mahomes come out there. Where do they think he's going? They know he's getting the ball back.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Thank you. Yes, they have screens. They did not run them effectively tonight. The two that I remember off the top of my head both got blown up. So
that seems to happen all season.
And I have to say, not to blame anyone, but I think it's one guard in particular that doesn't get out on him very quickly, and the other tackle that kind of telegraphs it, to tell you the truth. So I think there is a problem with that in the way that they allow them to develop.
Why don't you say who it is?
Because I'll do that after I watch the 22 and make sure I'm not stupid.
Okay.
Rev Debo, there you go again. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Why is Spags playing the Get Beat Brothers? I like that all the time. And that's the thing, is like he's learned his lesson some. Like they're playing less, but it's still like that old habit. I gotta go to him for this. I gotta go do that. I gotta go do this. I'm just I don't know. I
have no idea.
Derek, I don't believe Pat can still read defenses. I don't think that's it. He seems to understand where everything is. I think they effectively sat down in holes tonight, and he generally hit them when he needed to. Mm-hmm. It's when he ad-libs that all of a sudden he's trying to do things. I think there's something physically wrong with his platform. That first interception was like, he should have been easily been able to guide that, throw that around that defender without a problem.
Yeah.
But he rushed it, and then I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Really can't tell you. I think that not only that, but you're seeing defenses continuously pass off players as well. So you have zone defenders passing off to other zone defenders, and then they stop in their zones. And typically what the Chiefs like to do is they like to run those crossers and then have a hitch come behind him. And what you're seeing is these defenders run with him to a point, pass off, and stay in that passing lane. And you saw it multiple times where Mahomes throws it because he's got Tyreek coming behind him, and it gets almost picked off a couple times. They're not adjusting to that.
Yeah. I agree. William, thank you for the super chat. He said, coming in tonight, Dan had given up 291 yards in coverage, and if you take those out of it, they're 10th. I have nothing to say.
Is that real?
I have nothing constructive.
There's no way that's
I don't
real.
know. I'm going to have to look that up because I have nothing constructive to say about that right now.
William.
If
Don't play
if
with
that's
me.
true, then we have even bigger problems than I thought.
Right.
Okay, we got a couple more, folks, and then I got to wrap up because the pressers are starting. Remember, we are doing the Q&A tomorrow night where you can ask all your questions, or we'll answer them all. If you're new, like, sub, hit the bell notification so you're here tomorrow night and you get those notices. 700 in tonight. I appreciate that. Stevie's got another one here. Where to go? It's just coincidence that Greg Lewis switched to running back coach and Blamar taking the wide receiver coach duties, and it all the tip passes and INTs and other issues. That's an interesting concept, Stevie.
But it is interesting, but does it hold any water? Because they're on the same coaching staff. Like
Right, but the running backs have coughed it up a few times.
But what do they not practice the exact same stuff in practice anymore? Do they switch everything up?
That's the thing. Maybe not. Maybe there is an emphasis because the position coaches are going to run the individual drills. So maybe they're not fundamentally doing what they've done in years past.
I find that to be a little weird, but again, it might just be a coincidence. And again, if they're not practicing the same stuff they have been, maybe it's not.
Oh my Lord, Miss Holly. Are you drinking?
Holly, what is going
on? I don't even know what to say to that. Thank you, Miss Holly. That's
you.
It's one of our top 5 super chats of all time, Miss Holly.
That's incredible. Thank you so much. That's literally, Ryan and I can say a lot of stuff, but right now I'm like actually speechless, and that's a weird thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, we appreciate all the support, but Miss Holly, that's huge. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know what else to say to that.
No.
Seems like Chiefs are still struggling with turnovers and protecting the ball. Why do you think things are different this season versus the past few years? Do you have an overall theory?
It's not a good one because no one likes this kind of stuff that happens. And the Chiefs have been one of the best offenses at not turning the ball over since Patrick Mahomes has taken over. And as much as we may not want to think about it, turnover luck is a real thing at times. And it looks like right now, it's all just finding a way to catch up. And this is one of those things that you can't really account for. And when you have 6 or 7, I think 7 Patrick Mahomes passes tipped turning into interceptions, at some point, you just kind of throw your hands up and say, what are we supposed to do?
I mean, it might be time for, a seance or, sacrificing a chicken. I don't know.
I think that there's a naming that they did to the Chiefs, the field. I mean,
maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I will say this though. This guy said it, and if you guys don't remember where this goes, I will show it to you here in a second. Terez said in one of his last pieces, it's nearly impossible for a team to get back to a 3rd Super Bowl.
Yep.
And that is historically accurate. And I will tell you this, it feels like the entire team, from Veach's draft decisions all the way down to the guys on the practice squad, it feels like everybody's exhausted from playing back-to-back 19-plus game seasons and having not much offseason.
I will say the offense doesn't look the same in terms of, like, Travis does not look the same. He looks tired all the time. He doesn't have that fired up element that he's had the last couple of seasons. Even Tyreek, he's not. They don't look the same. So maybe they're all just exhausted.
That's where I'm leaning right now. Miss Holly, thank you again very much for the support.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. I do want to give you guys this too, though, because you can go get this and support the fund for the sports journalism scholarship that they've set up in Terez's name by going here and getting the Breaking Tea stuff. That said, looks like I have recordings to do because the pressure's over. We're going to hit these super chats and we are out, and we'll answer all the rest of your questions tomorrow night, same time as usual, 6 p.m. You guys, it'll be like tomorrow's Monday. Mike Hall, what are your thoughts on Gore? I like the first drive play calling and then just get bored and go back to looking deep routes. I think you nailed it, Mike.
Yeah, just about. I mean, I like what Gore brings to the table. He's just about what every other running back on the Chiefs staff is outside of McKinnon. He's a plotter that has some juice, but don't run him to the outside because they can't get to the outside. But again, here we are running more outside zone with running backs that don't have that burst. So what do I know? I mean, what do I know?
Let's just go that way.
If they
put in Mike Burton, follow him.
Like you saw when they just ran like up the gut, like they found that seam, they got skinny, got 10 yards. I don't know.
Daryl, you are so positive. Well, we're number 1 in turnovers.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That was good, Daryl. William, thank you again.
Thank you.
Especially put source and email on the same side of the field, so at least we know where the ball is going. Maybe you can just create a bubble over there with a couple of safeties over the top. That's your new dime package.
A hilarious and awesome thing. Just keep him on the sideline, almost like right there. Throw it over there.
Good Lord. All right. Aaron has been here. Stevie's here. Gooch is here. Dan and I are here, obviously. Big Chief Sean was in here. If you guys missed it, Sean had a great pregame video.
Yes,
so the whole team's here. We all appreciate you guys supporting us, especially on nights like this that you maybe don't really want to hear about this team as much as others. But we will be back with you for more tomorrow. Michael Porter, you coming in late. I don't know what that is.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
I don't either. I don't know what that is. Thank you.
I don't recognize the currency, but thank you very much. I'm hoping that's like pesos and that's like $16. Thanks, bro. If not, we're gonna have to have chat.
Yeah, right.
But we appreciate all the support that you guys give us. Support those that they're doing good things. We'll be back with you tomorrow. I'll do the Locked On Chiefs show, and you'll hear that later as well. And we'll tighten up the timeline because it's Monday Night Football, but we'll be back to normal soon. You'll see Dan and everybody else this week. Members, if you want to become a member, you want to see my meltdown video. That's what I think I'm going to call this series.
There you go.
And Gooch's Rogue Life. We'll have both those in the memberships, rookies and above, this week. Thank you guys. Enjoy your night. I know it's late. We'll be back with you tomorrow night live at 6 p.m. Central. Have a good one.